Hello, and welcome back for another Sims 4 video. Now, I don't know if you all have ever tried building with the filters in this game, more specifically the color filters. For this one, I only used the yellow filter in order to put objects and build and do everything. So the only swatches we could use were those tagged as yellow. So it's not just visually if it looks yellow, it had to be tagged as yellow. And if you're familiar with this game, a lot of things are not tagged correctly. This bed is tagged as yellow. Does it have yellow? Yes. It's mainly pink. This is tagged as yellow. Is there yellow on it anywhere? No. And that leads me to today's video, which is showing y'all an entirely yellow mansion that we started way back earlier this year. Now, it's taken me a while to actually get this finished. I finished it just a couple of weeks ago, and that's because we've been working on so many other builds. We had a huge month-long fundraiser, and I was doing a lot of Pride-oriented builds during that time as well. So I'm finally catching up on all of these builds that I've been doing the past few months. So let's just go ahead and get into the video. Now, this speed build video is going to be slightly different from my other ones in that I usually obviously show the full process of building it. This, however, is a compilation of all of the edited VODs that I did. So for this one, we had 7 streams that we worked on it, which was several hours of content. And I just did like an hour-long speed build for my botanical garden build. And I did not want to put y'all through another hour-long speed build. So I took the edited VODs. For this one in particular, I actually took all of the VODs and shrunk them down into like edited 15 to 20 minute videos. That way, if you missed the VOD, you didn't have to watch all like 3 hours of content. And it was just like a succinct way to see the main things I worked on. So I just took those 7 edited VODs and then strung them together to make this speed build video. So that's why you'll see it's not like a super smooth speed build like all my other videos are, but you still get the process and the gist of it. Now, this idea came from one of my streamer friends over on Twitch, and he was doing this super fun like randomized challenge where you get a random room and a random color assigned to it. And so I joined his stream on that, and I ended up getting a yellow master bedroom with bathroom. So for that, I did like a separate room, which is what you saw at the very start of the video. There was already kind of a room on the lot. That's what it is, and you can kind of see it in the back sometimes on the speed build. But once I finished that, I was like, well, I'd like to build a house for it, and everything is so yellow. Why not just do an entirely yellow house? And that started the rainbow series that I now have on my channel. So we are actually going to be doing orange next, and we're getting into the autumn season, which heavily influenced that. And I wanted to go in the order of the rainbow. So it was either going to be orange, or it was going to have to be green. And I was like, let's do orange. It's more autumnal. So with that, I already know what I'm doing next. I don't know what house I'm going to do, but this house overall was very much inspired with like a Cape Cod style is kind of what I was influenced by a little bit with the exterior at least. And then I have a bit of lore for this one. Like we always come up with storylines. I always like coming up with some type of family or just something to hang on to while I build, because it makes it more fun when you're building with a particular sim in mind or like some activities they enjoy. It just makes it a lot easier in some ways to have an idea of what you're doing instead of just trying to randomly find things that work. So this is the Sunbeam house, and it is for the Marigold family. And you'll know how much I like my Google Docs. So I have my Google Doc open. The Marigolds are a multi-generational family, and they're known for this radiant outlook and love for nature. That shows in every aspect of the home, every nook and cranny. I have like sunbeam, sun glow, all the yellow colors everywhere. And we have Lena Marigold. So she's the matriarch of the family, and she's a botanical illustrator and part-time garden columnist who moved back to her coastal hometown. I built this in Brindleton Bay, by the way, to raise her twins near the ocean breeze she grew up with. Her partner, Micah, is a retired chef and is now dedicated to crafting sustainable meals from their backyard garden. So they have their primary suite on the main floor, and it's filled with a lot of warm tones, a lot of warm yellow tones, and like flower art is a lot of things in here. So that's like the vibe I was going for in a lot of ways. I'm currently working on the twin bedrooms, but their twins, Emery and Sol, are 9-year-olds, and they are opposites. So one is super science obsessed stargazer, and the other is a budding musician who insists on everything they own must be yellow. So they share a Jack and Jill bathroom, and the rooms are like really unique to their personalities, I feel like. And playful. You know, they're 9-year-olds, so you want it to still be playful. So Soul, this is his bedroom I'm currently working on with all of the yellow tones. He loves yellow. He's the musician, has lots of string instruments, has a keyboard. Emery is more the science obsessed stargazer, loves space. So I put a lot of nods to that throughout the house. So we have things not just in their bedrooms, but also throughout the house. And we're going to do a live tour at the end of the speed build anyway, so you'll get to see some of the details a bit better than you can in the video. And then Lena's mother, Evelyn, moved in. So she's a bit old and she had been visiting often and ended up moving in upstairs, and she has her own suite because her husband recently passed. She's now moving in with us. We have her grandmother upstairs. The kids love that. They hang out, and that's a little bit of a nod to like my grandmother. I grew up with my grandmother in the house, and that was really fun for me. I'd wake up before everyone else in my house and I'd go straight to her room because I knew she'd be up too. And we're talking about like 4 in the morning, y'all. I would wake up as a kid super early and just stay up. I love being up before everyone else. I got to do things that I wanted to do. Nobody was watching me. I loved it. It was so much fun. I'd go and watch Matlock and Law and Order with my grandmother when I was like 5 or not even. But anyways, I liked putting that into the storyline a good bit. But that's like our family, generally speaking, and there are some really fun nods to that throughout. So what I'm working on now upstairs is this sunroom area, which is also what I'm picturing as Soul's kind of practice room. So it's up, it's away from everyone on the main floor. Like, yes, he can practice in his bedroom, but it's kind of fun to have a sunroom space upstairs where he can practice there as well. So it's like a little mini practice room for him. And now I'm working on Evelyn's suite. So this is her full bedroom. She has a nice walk-in closet. She has a full bath. Everything's up there for her that she needs. So I was just trying to picture, you know, obviously if you have an elderly woman like that living with you, make it easy. You know, she doesn't need to be wandering all around the house for everything and what she's doing. So I wanted to make it easy for her. And I put a lot of cute nods and like some older stuff in her bedroom. And I tried to keep it fun. Keep in mind, everything had to be yellow. Now, I did allow myself some cheats. It all started with Emery's bedroom because we have so many fun science, space themed objects in the game. And I think we allowed ourselves 3 cheats per room from that point forward. So I did allow myself to use cheats. And oftentimes that also just meant that I would pull things that weren't tagged as yellow but still had yellow. So there were a few objects that were blatantly yellow, but the game doesn't tag them as yellow, which don't even get me started. There are some things that are like solid purple in the game or black, and they're tagged as yellow. So it makes no sense. So I did not use those. The reverse is true too. I did not allow myself to use objects that were tagged as yellow, but were obviously not yellow. You know, so I gave myself a little bit of leeway here, but granted, it would have been a lot easier in some cases if I were able to do that. Now I'm working on the greenhouse space. Keep in mind, they love nature, everything about nature. They have their own garden that Micah, you know, pulls ingredients from to cook meals. And then of course, Lena has her like whole garden columnist thing, and she's like a botanical illustrator. So this is her like office space I put upstairs. So this is where she works on that. I even put like some of the magazine articles we get that are framed and just pretended like some of those were like her articles and she saved them. I even like was intentional with the swatch. That was one of the cheats I did up there. But I picked one that had like a gnome on it. So I was like, at least it's a garden gnome. It can be somewhat relevant to her field. And then I also put a lot of like paint studio, art studio stuff up there because again, she's an illustrator. So it's like maybe she's into painting as well. Now I'm working on the kitchen, which was really fun. And it took a while to get the layout for the kitchen the way I wanted. It's beautiful. It's gourmet. Keep in mind, Micah's like an actual chef. So I was like, I have to have a kitchen that a chef would genuinely enjoy. So I put this massive island up in there. I put the little peninsula off of that with the sink. We have a full dining space off of that. So they have a lot of fun things to do in their kitchen, lots of appliances, lots of great things that they can cook. And then I did this little mudroom area. Keep in mind, this was before we had Grange mudroom kit. And I even like put some hooks behind that stuck out and then hung up backpacks and stuff on it to make it look super realistic because we have kiddos. So just imagining they're going to school. So on their way out, they grab their backpack by the door. And when they come home from school, they put it there. Just trying to think of ways to use it that was, you know, unique to that. So there are a lot of neat little bells and whistles in this home, I think, that kind of storytell for themselves. And I put some of these like little crafts that we have that kids can make and put those around the house just to make it more realistic, because obviously when you have two 9-year-olds, or even when they're growing up and in school, like in kindergarten especially, like we would make so many arts and crafts for our parents all the time. I feel like my parents had stuff like that all over the walls, all over the kitchen fridge, like everything everywhere. So I tried to put some fun nods to that. Now I'm going back through cluttering. So if you're wondering like why in the world I'm like going back into these rooms that I already did, that's because I like to go through the rooms. This is my process. I go through the rooms and put down the base furniture just to get the layout of the space. But then I also love cluttering, and I love putting a lot of objects and making it feel super homey, but that takes more time. So I like to just lay out the rooms first for the entire house and then go back and start back at the bottom and work my way back up, putting clutter in all of the rooms. So that's generally how I build whenever we're on stream. If you want to check out streams over on Twitch, would love to have you follow me there. But I don't know, that's just how I like to process things. It feels overwhelming to try to figure out the layout of the space, get all the furniture, and then clutter all at one time. I like to just let things kind of sit, and if I'm indecisive about something, it's great to just leave it. And then when I come back to clutter, that's whenever, if I find certain clutter objects or something I really want to use, then I'm not completely married to the layout necessarily. But it makes me feel good and better to move forward, at least knowing I have all of the essentials and basics for each room figured out before I start cluttering up, because sometimes I will clutter up a room and get it super detailed, and then it's like, oh, I really want to change this, and then I have to redo and undo everything. So it just prevents me from having to do that so much. Now, I did give Evelyn this cute little like knitting corner space on the landing upstairs, and that is like completely hers. I put a lot of the crochet stuff, I put cross-stitching stuff up there, and that's also shared with the hallway to the greenhouse space. So that's where the greenhouse is off of the landing upstairs before you enter on the other side, which gets you into the library slash office space that's there, that big open space. So now I'm like cluttering up with a lot of the art stuff that I was talking about earlier for Lena and her hobbies and what she likes to do. This house is completely, I mean, completely stacked with hobbies and activities. Like, your Sims cannot get bored in this house. There is no way with the number of instruments, there's no way with the number of activities, the number of bookcases, like they're going to have something to do always. And I even put this little laundry room off of that area too on the hallway. So we have a full laundry room. I think for a house this big with this many Sims, you would want to have a laundry space that's that big. So it just kind of made sense. I know it can be annoying in gameplay to have laundry, but I did it for the vibes. And then I found someone had made a music stand with other objects. I love it whenever people get creative with stuff like this. I like doing this myself sometimes with creating some new objects from lots of other objects, sized down and like tweaked just right to make it look like something else. So I found someone who made this really cute little music stand. So Soul has that whenever he's playing cello or whatever. So it's great to have. And then now we are focusing on Evelyn's suite, which was the last part. I saved that for last. So all of her room is like a really nice combination of like this pink purple color with blue with the yellow everywhere. So I tried to incorporate some really fun colors and a little bit of mismatched furniture and color swatches. We have stripes with some other patterns. And I just feel like, I don't know, it's not to stereotype a whole generation, but I do feel like with older people in general, they don't really care too much about things matching. It's more of just like, if they like something and they want it, they have it and they put it in there no matter what or how it looks. So we have some like mixing of styles in her suite, which is, I think, a really cute vibe to me. I think that's a good way to kind of get an older vibe in your space, so everything's not super matchy and you have some like really fun color tones and furniture that's like all sorts of different hodgepodge combinations. So I don't know, I like that a lot, and that just makes it more fun to clutter and just furnish anyway. So it just makes everything so much better in my opinion. But now we're working on her little balcony. She has a really nice balcony. So keep in mind, this part here is above the primary bedroom. So I know you've not gotten to see it very much in this because I already had it built for the challenge that I did. So that's why you don't see it. I'll show y'all what it looks like whenever we do the tour. But I gave her a lot of cute activities. I put the flower arranging table out there for her if she wanted that. She has a really nice seating area outside. You know, they need to get some sun, especially. They don't get out as much. So I wanted to make sure she had plenty of space for that as well. And then we have a lot of porch space all over the place. So off of the music room upstairs, we also had that porch space. So that's what I was putting there. I've had another easel. We have chests on the front porch area here. I put those like little ottomans, the poofs, in the shape of a flower. So if you're wondering like why on earth I like clipped in so many of those things, I was trying to pretend like it's one big seat, like one big ottoman, and then on both sides of it you can face the bonfire things that I put there. I can't remember the proper name for them. They're like tables, but they have the fire, the heat in them. So I wanted to put that up there. And then I have a complete outdoor kitchen as well. Again, Micah needs a gourmet kitchen inside, and he needs a really nice kitchen outdoors. So I put that right by the garden space. So I'm going to stop yapping and we're going to go see the build. So this is the lot at a glance. I'll go ahead and show you all the outside and pan around so you can get the vibes of it, but super big house. It took us a while to finish because of that, but you can see the really lush landscaping. I tried to stick with just yellow and green for the main part, and then I have like little pops of purple, and that's just because we do have a little bit of purple in the stained glass around the house, so I thought I'd bring that out just a little bit. And it's complementary color, so it's like, why not go ahead and use that as a little accent color if you can. So looking through the outside, so looking around the outside, we do have like a playground area for the kiddos over here, a fun little tree. We have the sprinklers over on this side, and then we have our garden, huge tree. We have the patio back here with the little outdoor kitchen. I say little, but it's actually pretty big for an outdoor kitchen. So great entertainment space. We even have like a little bonfire area off to the side right here. Plenty of seating right there as well. And then over here off of the front porch, as it wraps around, you can see what I was getting at a little bit with the poofs here. So like I wanted it to look like a big flower, but you can sit here, enjoy the fire there, sit there, enjoy that fire. And there's plenty of seating all around in this space to host a lot of people for parties. So this is like a really great family that has lots of parties, social gatherings, and connections. There's all sorts of spaces for them to hang out. So as we come through the front door here, to the right is what I was talking about earlier with the little mudroom space we have. So this object clips through really well because the shelf here takes up a lot of space off the wall, so it actually hides the plank behind it and you only see the hook. So I hung the backpack up right there, just make it a little more realistic. And we have a little matching lunchbox there, and I put another lunchbox here on the counter like it was getting ready for school or something. So I thought that was a really cute vibe. So Saul is ready to go, and then Emery's lunch is over here on the island. So off of that, though, we have our living space over here. Really fun, vibrant colors. I wanted it to be a little bit eclectic in feel. I don't know, it just gives it more of a fun space. And then thankfully this chair was actually tagged as yellow, and it has the yellow pillow, but it helps us like give a little bit of an accent color with the dark green. But really, really cute vibes, I think. And again, I was just trying to incorporate plants and flowers everywhere I could because it's the marigold family, you know, so it makes sense. So this is what we're looking like over here off of the living room space. Have a little bar area as well. And then the fancy TV above the fireplace. And then we can go head over into the kitchen. You can get the vibes here. I did the stackable ovens. I had this in my house growing up and I loved it. My mom and I baked all the time, and we could bake multiple things at one time having the two ovens. So that was really fun. I was like, that's kind of fancy, so let's do that. So I stuck those over there by the fridge. And then we have, of course, our big island I've already featured, and we actually have a little bit of like storage space down here up at the candy machine. I thought that'd be fun with the kids to do that. And then really fun, vibrant colors over here. I had to overlay this by like 1 square, so that's why it's doing that. And then I have the double stoves over here as well with the ovens. So we have like 4 ovens right here. Micah is having the time of his life. Wait, what? Okay, I'm not the only one that saw a door there, right? Right? I know I saw a door there. Okay, anyway. But plenty of utensils, fun spaces. I stocked up the shelves a good bit. And then we have our dining space over here. Really cute, simple, fun vibe. I use the egg rug, which I have not really gotten to use very much, at least in a dining space. And it kind of works really well for that. But I put windows all the way around. I did not want curtains covering these up, so I thought that was really pretty. And then we'll go ahead and branch off into the primary bedroom. So keep in mind, I did this before I had the vibe of the house in mind. So I tried to base the house off of the primary bedroom because this was already done and I didn't want to redo everything. So this is what this is looking like. Now I overlaid the Journey to Batu ring with the like spa day mirror, and I think that looks really pretty. So I don't know. It's like creating a new object, you know, and then we of course have the sun because it's the sunbeam house. So I wanted to put that in here. But they have their own like little library nook over here off of that, and then their own little workspace right there too. So really fun vibes in here. I tried to incorporate lots of fun like colors and pops of color that I could. We had the blue on this. I was like trying to bring the blue out from this painting with the sun on it. So sun, flowers, yellow, that was basically it for this house. And then one thing I'd like to point out that maybe won't come across is I was putting rounded platforms everywhere. So we have a rounded platform down right here, and then we have this one there. The only one that's not rounded is this one right here, which kind of bothered me. I tried doing a rounded one, but with these tiles in the kitchen, the design just didn't work well with the rounded corner. So I don't know, it just wasn't gonna work well. I would have had to scoot the island over a tile. I was gonna have to move a lot of stuff around. I was like, I'll live with that. It's fine. It's fine. Getting back in here though, you come upstairs actually to your bathroom, and then you go back down a stair. So I was like playing a lot with platforms. I like doing that in my builds a good bit. But we have like a closet space here. We have a closet space off of that. I was thinking his and hers, you know, kind of on the sides right here, but she has the extra one here. So, you know, a little bit of his and then mostly hers, as it should be. And then another closet over there. The toilet is tucked away off to the side right here. And then you have obviously your main space here with the sinks. And then we have like a double shower with a bathtub in here. So fun vibes, fun situation with that. And I'm not meaning that in a dirty way. So, you know, get your heads out of the gutter. And then I'm going to go down the hall here. So this first room right here is Emery's bedroom. I loved doing her bedroom. I spent so much time in here. It's such a cute vibe. I love all the space stuff that is everywhere. The stars. I tried to like find lots of cute space vibes for her room. So I was purposely also trying to put things low. Normally I don't set things like these shelves this low and the art this low, but with it being a kid's space, they're short, right? So you want it to be more accessible to them, not necessarily an adult sim. So I thought it made sense to put it that way. And then she has a little bunk bed over there. So this is a cute little vibe. Lots of suns and moons. We'll go through the bathroom. So this is Jack and Jill bathroom. It has 3 doors though, because it's also going to serve as the main one for your guests. So this is what we have in here. It's a little bit more of a dated vibe, which I really like. And then just some cute clutter, cute little shower curtain. Not much to see in there. Then we go into Soul's bedroom. So Soul literally means sun, in case you didn't know that. And I don't mean that in a condescending manner, just letting you know that that does mean sun. So he's literally named after the sun. So he has to love yellow. It's like a requirement. So yellows and circles were what I wanted in this room. All sorts of shades of yellow, just everything yellow, as much as I could anyway, within reason. I didn't want it to be completely tacky and ugly, but I think it actually works pretty well in here. I think it's a cute space. And I was picturing that Soul, like I, loves plants and loved plants when, you know, he's a kid. So I thought he took after his mother a bit more. That's what was going through my mind because I was very much a mama's boy growing up. And so I was picturing Soul might be too, and he might be following her footsteps. So I put like a lot of plants in his room. And by a lot, I just mean a few, but still. I put the little tree on the wall here too with the decal. And I just thought that was cute. So when we come back through here, you can see we have a little pet. And then that's the whole downstairs. Now we are going to head upstairs. So when we come up here off the landing, like I said, Evelyn has her little like nook over here with her knitting and cross stitching. So some really fun energy all around. Lots of plants here because again, we have the greenhouse space. I didn't realize that was like that, but it's because of the roof piece I have here. So you're just gonna have to pretend that that's not there, and it's okay. I'm not gonna fix it. I'm growing. I am growing. 6 months ago, that would have drove me crazy, and I would have completely deleted the whole floor and redone everything just so I could get rid of that one tile. So I'm leaving it. That's what we call growth. And speaking of growth, we are in the greenhouse. So this is where all of our little plants live and thrive. And I put like some fun terrariums. I was picturing that we put a lot of terrariums and stuff on the shelves over here. But lots of cute gardening vibes in this space. And then we have like a fun little balcony space here. So remember, Emery loves stars. So I put the telescope. I was imagining that the twins like to come up here and just look at the stars together and hang out. I think that's a cute idea, you know, in theory, if they love each other, but siblings oftentimes don't when they're growing up. So I think that's really cute to have that big balcony space. When we come back in, we'll zip right in here, go through here. Now this is like the big open space for crafts and hobbies and such. So this is where Lena like takes care of her work. She does a lot of her writing up here. This is like a creative space for her. So that's what happens up here. She does her painting, has lots and lots of fun like vibes for that. We have a little library area up here on a platform as well. And then off to the side over here is the music/sunroom space. So I think this is really, really cute. I would love to have something like this in real life. I would be in this room all the time. Then we have another like porch space off of that. So really cute entertainment space, have an easel up here as well. And then we have this beautiful custom pergola I did with all the flowers over it. So I think that turned out really pretty. I love the way that that looks. I did add the spandrel at the last minute. I didn't realize it was like clipping over the top of those. I'm not sure I like that. I'm gonna leave it. It's fine. But I don't know. I might delete the spandrel if I were playing with it. I just really love the look of this and how overgrown it is. I think it's such a vibe if we could have something like that in real life. And then we'll come back in here. We have our little like laundry space off of here. Not much to see in here, but I do love how these cabinets kind of fit with the vibe. And I really like these cabinets because the knobs look like flowers, like little daisies. So that was really cute to me. And then coming back through here, this is Evelyn's suite. So this is what we have going on in her bedroom. I mean, she's got the fanciest TV in the house, I feel like, but really cute vibes. But you can see what I mean by, like, there's a lot of different patterns happening, a lot of different textures. So I think it's just kind of cutesy in a way, and it gives it more of an aged look, especially with this chair here. I thought that was cute to add that in, but it's like all the colors kind of work together though. So it works. It's like a nice kind of chaotic feel to it. And then her little walk-in closet space, plenty of stuff in here for her. And then a fun little bathroom. I think the layout of this bathroom is really, really playful in a lot of ways. I would love to have a bathroom that's kind of like organized like this. Got some platforms. Hopefully she doesn't trip and fall. Not a great thing for an elder, I guess, but she'll get through it. She's smart, she's strong, she's determined. She'll be fine. And then she has her own little balcony here. So she has bees, insects, a bird feeder, some planter boxes. Oh, I must have changed my mind. I have the flower arranging table here, though. I think I'd considered putting one here, and I instead opted for this one, which I put some of the apothecary stuff on, which was kind of cute, last-minute addition. And so that's the build, y'all. I have no idea what the orange house is going to be. I don't think they're all going to be mansions, but it will be fun to figure out kind of the vibe of each one and what we're going to do with it. Okay, so it is officially on the gallery. I changed it to mansion. I just thought it sounded more posh, the Sunbeam Mansion, you know? That is now on the gallery. It does use a lot of packs. I'm really sorry about that, but I did just recently do a limited pack build. So if you want to check that out, I'll put that over here for you. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thanks for supporting me and my channel. We've been growing steadily, and I just want to like make sure that I give credit where credit is due, and thank you all for watching my videos, interacting, engaging, leaving comments, liking, hyping now that that's a thing. And with that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and see you in the next one. Okay, bye. I'm actually kind of sad that this build's over. I had so much fun with it, and I think it like at the time pushed me a lot.